This time on Woody's Garage. You think this is actually going to work?
Alright, here we are back on the HS40. We got a new valve. Hey, look at that. Cool box and everything. Yeah, which one's new, which one's old? Look at how mushroomed out this one is. I mean, you can see the shaft, like the stress it was under. You can feel it. This feels so smooth. Now watch. You drop the old valve in. That's as far down as it goes. Doesn't bottom out. You take the new valve. You drop it in. Smack right down on the seat. So, it's going to make a heck of a difference. Do I think that washer was in there that bent the valve? I'm starting to think like, yes, I think it was. Because it probably got under it. Tried to come up. Probably was on the top of it. The valve came up, hit the top of the head. The cam couldn't push it any higher, so the cam broke. So somebody was in here doing something. I don't know, horsing around, cleaning the head. So, I don't know. I think what we got to do is lap this thing. I got to try to get that exhaust off. I misplaced my impact driver someplace, and one of those screws is pretty tough to get off. So I want to do both of them, might as well. And that's what we'll do next. Yeah, it's Memorial Day weekend, 46 degrees. Gonna rain for all 3 days. I feel sorry for those people that rented down on Cape Cod for the weekend. Still no sign of my impact, but I wanted to show the Honda Z50R that I finally put the fenders on and stuff. They look good. Still gonna do some work like paint those rear shocks. I found out the front end needs bushings, really. I took it apart and cleaned it up. I didn't think it did, but there's some play in it. So I think I should, but not quite sure what I'm going to do with this thing. I might sell it. Alright, maybe if we take this screw out, we can just turn the whole thing. There we go. Maybe that screw will come loose. Yeah, there we go. Who needs an impact? Now here's a weird thing. There's a keeper here, but I already pulled out a keeper. Are there two and I'm just not aware of it or something? The keeper goes like this and fits in there. And to get it out, the valve comes down and comes out that hole. And we got the tool on the spring, but not on the keeper, so we can get it out. But I can't get it like right under the spring. I wish I could make it a little bit easier. But we'll pull it out with some pliers or something. We just got to get it turned the right way. If I hit it right on the bottom spring, it would be a lot easier. I'm going to try to do that. I got a little more light on the subject and I can kind of see, okay, the keeper slid right off the valve, so now you uncompress it and the valve should come right out. Out she comes. Kind of blackened, burnt, but it is the exhaust valve. You notice a difference because the intake's marked with a I. Let's see what the seats look like. It's dirty-ish. There's a little mark right there. Little indentation. That could have been from the washer. But really nothing else. Okay, we got some valve grinding compound and my homemade cheesy valve grinding suction cup deal. I should buy one of those. Okay, we'll put some compound on the valve. Maybe too much, I don't know. Drop her in. And then we'll work it. Oh yeah, you can hear that, huh? My cups! My cups! We'll do that till it sounds fairly clean. I'll bring it back when it does, hopefully. That feels pretty good. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, we got the exhaust valve pretty well cleaned up. The edge is kind of rough. That's not the edge it sits in the seat, but yeah, it looks like it a little bruised. Okay, I got ourselves pretty clean up here. My next problem is this camshaft that got broken off going to be long enough to support? This is a measurement I got sticking this into the tip of it. That's how far in we are from the outside of the block. We're going to have to measure and see how far in we actually are, because that could, you know, potentially break again. And I don't have another cam. This is what happens. And you try to gingerly take these off. You know, heated it, plenty of lube. I did the set screws, put lube down there, tapped it lightly, and just snap. You know, nothing to it. I'll glue it back in. They are fixed. Okay, there's a more accurate measurement. One thing I know is that that's going to collect a lot of dirt and stuff, so I was thinking, like, if it is long enough, I'll put a bolt in there and make a cover that sits over it. Some kind of seal. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a good cam. Now that's how far out the camshaft sticks from the edge of the engine block. Oh, we got to measure this whole tunnel. See how long that is. So what we had was 11.3, and the whole tunnel is like 25.5. So we got 12. Let's say about 12. We got the camshaft going into that much. That is pretty good if you ask me. That should be enough support. There's no cam in it now. We're just turning it over. There's no like bottom slop or anything like that. Can't move the piston at all. Feels nice and tight. I mean, so it's coming down to, there were two keepers in there? Yes, there were. Was there a washer in the head? Maybe, probably not, is what I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's a two keepers. Yes, somebody was in here. And they fucked up. Back at it, we want to lash the valves today. This is what I wrote down for settings. The exhaust, the new intake valve is very tight. It's going to need some grinding. We got a little bit of clearance on the intake, but I mean on the exhaust, but not 0.008. So that's what we're going to go for. We're going to do a little grinding. It's got to do a little grinding. Yeah, I use that grinder, and then I sanded it smooth on this guy. Not much of a technique, just you know, a little bit at a time. And we got the intake right on the first try, which is a little scary. Means that I took off you know, more than I thought I was going to do the first time. So got to go a little easier, I think, on the intake. There's also a little bevel. Can you see that? It should be maintained as well. Not quite sure of the function of it, but yeah, one-handed, sure. This is still a little tight. The intake, yeah, I can't see a thing. Yeah, valve's moving. Take off a little more. Alright, they're both good. We're going to check them again with the springs on and stuff like that, but I want to actually take apart that lower end. The connecting rod. I want to take it off and take a look in there. Yeah, really small 1/4 inch bolts, screws, whatever. I'll take this off. I just want to see what the journals look like and that kind of thing. It seems to be turning a little bit sluggish. Wow. A weird looking. There's a little bit of scratching and a kind of weird texture on it. Do you see that? Not from the oil. What's the jug look like? Feels good. The journals, pretty smooth, very nice. Okay, not a lot of worries here then. I can see evidence of a hone. There's some cross hatching there. Yeah, somebody definitely did some work on this engine, and now I'm thinking that the two valve keepers were the cause of the problem. That maybe the two keepers worked for like a little while. I have no idea why they put two keepers in it. And then it let go and it broke the camshaft. Yeah, both the top two rings have this dot indication on them that I think is right. It's supposed to be up. I'm going to double check that. You also set the rings off like in a peace sign pattern, and I gotta look that up too because I'm not quite sure which ring they prefer pointing which way. So I'm kind of wondering if this pattern is from like somebody did the hone and then they didn't clean it out properly and that was all the debris that was left over. Could be. Okay, we got them staggered. Got some lube on it. Last time we're just going to use a hose clamp. This thing is just like kind of cumbersome. I swear this works better. I'll make sure what's going on downstairs there. Get the crank out of the way. Presto. I like this better. Yeah, it's kind of tough to get a torque wrench in there, but we're looking like 7.75 foot-pounds for torque. Yeah. Tight space, hard to do. Don't really need a camera on. It's pissing me off. Got that one. Got that one. Go back to this one. Yeah, go back to this one again. Hooray. So we're looking at our cam. The part that goes into the engine looks nice and smooth, but the outer is really nasty. It's got some ridges and stuff. I'm smoothing it down with some sandpaper. Yeah, it was troubled even in the other engine. So it's nice in the case though. Really smooth. Okay, let's put it back together. Using baby poop for a gasket. Locating pins are in. Washer also. Okay, it's just tight enough to have some squeeze out a little bit, so it makes a nice flat surface out of that baby poop. And we'll put in our valve springs. Okay, here's really the right tool to do the springs in the Tecumseh. Oh, why didn't I know that? Because I'm not that familiar with the tools that I got from that big lot of stuff I got from a retired cop who worked on engines who passed away, and he gave me all this stuff. No, I was wrong about that. The clamp here is awesome. I'll kind of show you how it works. I got that one in. You can kind of see the clamp underneath the keeper and the spring. You bring it up to height, then you just kind of slide the notch in. It's outside here, and then you slide it into there, and then you back off the clamp like this, and it's good. First time I did it, it popped off, but I just didn't have it in far enough. We'll do the other one. So the spring and the keeper are in there. And you drop the valve in. And then you get the tool underneath here and you jack it up. Check the valve clearances again. Oh, great. I found a brand new gasket for the outside. There's one on the inside and there's one on the outside. The outside one was broken. But whenever I find a new gasket like this, I'm like, God, I'm wasting it on this engine. I think this is how it goes. You got gasket, and you got that little diaphragmy thing. And then you got a filter. This goes out, and that goes out to outside of the crankcase. So I think this is right. And it points down like that. So this goes on like this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it goes the other way. Okay, better look into this one. Okay, here's the HSSK engine that I have. And it goes this way. It sits kind of high, but points down. Head is on, exhaust is on with a new gasket. I put the coil on. Going to clean up the contacts here with a little bit of sandpaper. The post here too. Certainly can't hurt. Got a card underneath here. It's actually the right thickness. That's actually what it's for. Loosen it so it comes down on the magnet. The magnet's pointing up here. Just tighten it up. We got sparks, we got rotation. I'm actually going to get some, I think some synthetic oil in it. Yeah, let it work around a little bit. Sounds normal. Yeah, it's together. It's scary. Is it gonna work?